Right, how do I swap it round? Right, right. I'm going the other way. Right, going live from Hyde Park. The lockdown, the anti-lockdown. Here we go. Right. So she wandered down. So right, just live from Hyde Park. John Wedge here. Just this picnic in the park where people are gathered. Sort of not in a defiance of anything. They're just doing what is right, you know. We're seeing police in large numbers, not a face mask between them. We've got temperatures well in excess of 26 degrees, therefore coronavirus should be gone. So this isn't about that. This is about our freedom. And this is really in response to the fact that we weren't allowed to do our protest because this coronavirus. Child abuse has been put on the shelf. Abuse levels within home have rocketed. And really in response to Darren and Jeanette's video when horrendous crimes against children have been perpetrated and absolutely no one is brought to justice. So, you know, and yet the law deemed it necessary to come out in force here, which again, I never ever attack the police, never ever do that. And there's our man over there. Right, yeah, I'll give this to him. Do you want to take? So you're going to have to, have you got me? Right, I'm on there. Right. Let's go and see one of...
Do you know who the one said is? And this is the ones doing everything. Do you know the one
Well,
Hello!
how are you, big man? How are you? Good to see you.
How are you too, mate?
How are you? All right? Right. Well, back in a minute. We're just going to wander down. All right, see you in a sec. You know. So, all right, lads. Hello. How are you? We're just doing our little update on things. Yeah, cheers, man.
Work. Very good.
Oh, yeah, no, thanks.
Well
What's your
done,
name?
Well done, Justin.
Hello, Justin.
Hi, I've messaged you the other day, Margaret.
Oh, Margaret, of course. Right, all right,
Very
lovely.
good, honestly. She
Oh,
knows her stuff.
oh, brilliant.
Natural healer. She does all the feet and all that.
Oh,
She
did
picked
you
up
get
all the
in touch with
points.
Christine?
No, you didn't. You said you'd send
amazing.
the stuff off to your
Yeah, Christine. Yeah. I'll chase that up. It did go through. It did go off.
Yeah, no problem.
But you know, this is why we come down here because they've taken the focus away from child abuse
Yeah, of course
and what's
yeah,
going on.
outrageous. We've seen her stuff.
Did you watch the video with Jeanette?
Oh, yeah, we did.
You know,
Yeah.
and if we've come a little bit further, if we look at that, you know, they should be there dealing with this.
yeah.
This police presence should be on there, and of course not on this. You know, not on this. It's just an erosion of our human rights, and we're walking into evil, aren't we? You know,
Definitely,
we're just
mate.
walking.
It's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's dark. Agenda 21.
No.
Change, innit?
And you destroy children, you destroy future,
They
you
don't
know.
care about the kids.
How disgusting that we've had people high up in the political forum, we're going live with this anyway, high up in the political forum that have been known paedophiles.
Yeah.
We've got people like Leon Britton, like Ted Heath and many others, and then they covered it up, and then they're covering up so much now what's going on. You've got to see why are they still doing it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it because these people are pretty much still active.
Well, just need to look at Hampstead whistleblower kids.
Yeah.
2015.
Well,
All that up.
well, again, I mean, I was asked my opinion on that, and they said, "What do you reckon?" I said, "The children are not lying.
Of course they're not lying.
They're not lying." And Jeanette's testimony corroborates that. Vicky Ash's testimony corroborates that. So many victims of satanic abuse. Did you watch Red Riding, the Channel 4? I'll try and send you the link. Margaret. Channel 4 did this 3-part documentary drama on the 70s, 80s, 90s, police corruption, all that, but it was all to do with children being used and satanic and all that, and they pulled it, but it was so accurate.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in that case, there was a girl that went missing. Her name will come to me in a minute. She went missing, and then they banged up a mentally dysfunctional Polish guy, and they banged him up for it. He did 19 years. His mum campaigned, and it weren't him. And the guy that went was linked to a satanic group, which was linked to Cyril Smith. His name was Stefan Kishko. And it was linked to Cyril Smith and who's the other one? Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I can't believe how many children go missing. It's like 100,000 children.
Oh,
missing,
it's
go missing
ridiculous.
a year, and nothing get covered.
A lot come back, but when they go missing, they're involved in prostitution. Majority of them, but some of them never appear.
Yeah.
You know. And I was told about what one team of organised gangsters that they were supplying children for £20,000 a piece, and this was back in the 60s for parties, but 40,000 if they weren't to be returned. So they were obviously going to kill them, you know. And then we see what they do in the satanic rituals, and you think, well, it is, you know. If you look at Jeanette's thing, she goes, the important people. Well, who are these important people? You know, important to who? Important to Satan. They're not important to us. These are dysfunctional, moronic, vile, child murdering perverts.
What that woman went through is just
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
horrific.
Just
And
need to
the
look
fact
at-
that she actually came
She's still
forward
here.
and she survived it.
Yeah, survived it.
How the hell did
And
she
again
survive it?
with Darren, with his testimony, very similar, whippings, beatings, and then the orgies of buggery and everything else. And
Yeah.
I think it's just the whole thing's just flipping.
But hats off to you because your work is unbelievable. You've actually stood
But-
up. and
But
gone
but
to
the thing is,
Right.
the thing,
Yeah.
Justin, is we can't allow it.
No.
These are little children. I don't care what adults do to each other. They can bugger each other all day long. I'm not bothered. It's not my problem. But why do it to children? Why do it to and why expect to get away with it? And we've got to say, as decent adults and human beings, we're not allowing this. You've got away with it, but no more. You know, I'm not interested in people smoking weed. I'm not interested in drink driving. I don't really care about that. But don't rape children and expect to get away with it because we're not going to allow it.
No, you shouldn't.
It's not going to happen.
It's
So,
so horrific.
oh,
I'm
You know.
new to it all myself, but since I'm, it's,
Yeah.
it's just shocking.
yeah, I know. It's absolutely prolific. Where are you? You're London based, are you?
Hertfordshire.
Yeah.
Oh, are you? You born Wood?
I'm
Hatfield.
Oh, I'm only in Hemel.
Oh, right, so just
Oh,
outside.
I'm only in
Justin's
Hemel.
in Welling, so
Oh, mate. Well,
close.
look. PM me, Justin,
we'll
and
do,
then we'll meet up and then we'll have a chat, and then I'll get Christine.
we'll see you in the
God,
evening.
God
Pleasure
bless.
to meet you. Yeah,
Thank
what
you,
a pleasure.
Justin.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers. Thank you so much. All right, see you later. Well, we'll look at that. You know, within a couple of minutes, we met. I forget his name now. My old mate. He's always turning up at our protests. We met Justin and Margaret. Margaret is a healer. She's a helper. She wants to do good, so she's given her details. We've recorded her details. They've gone to the coordinator. So, you know, she's on board to help victims and survivors. So she's Hertfordshire based. So we've got someone Hertfordshire based. So if there's anyone out there that needs a bit of help, then we've got Margaret there. So look at that. How positive is that this is all coming forward now. So now let's look at this. Just look at this thing. This is interesting. We're doing a live podcast here. Hello, my name's John.
Nice to meet you, John.
Where are you from, my friend?
Let me change the hands.
Where are you
Okay.
from? You got a nice accent.
I'm from Ukraine. No, it's
Oh,
fine,
Ukraine,
but I live
hello.
in Portugal most of the time.
Oh, okay. Now, this is very interesting. What's your name again? Sorry.
Pavlo.
Pavlo. Right. Please talk us through this.
Right, so this is the poster of my book on Amazon. It's called The Devil's Game.
All right. Okay. Right.
The book is made of 33
Oh, yeah.
symbolic/surrealistic drawings,
Right.
and there's a story linked to each one. In
Right.
the book, I challenge the commonly accepted ideas in society. You know, I try to come to the conclusion whether or not they're useful, which ones are more useful, which ones are less
Okay.
useful, and how do they work. Because people sometimes think that everything that the government or the authority tells them is going to work in their favor.
Oh, of
That
course
doesn't
it's not.
always- it doesn't always
Well,
work like that.
Pablo, we were seeing this now. How is this working? This is wrong.
not too well.
This is just so wrong. I mean, and if you look at these couples are socially distancing, the others all sat in their vans, 10 of them, 12 of them, with the windows shut, you know, exactly. But you're right, this is the devil's game because the devil is running the show at the moment. You know, but not if we allow him. You know, we've got to say
the
no to
reason's
him.
a little bit different. It's because everybody thinks that they're the good guy, always.
yeah.
And thus the opposing side will be always branded as the devil.
Yeah.
And thus, you know, for the people in charge, the people who oppose them will be the devil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how it will always
Yeah, well,
go.
this is what they do. They
And that's the
demonise
idea.
us.
Yes.
They demonise
Yes,
us.
That's the idea that I challenged.
Yeah.
I try to implement conversation, you know,
Okay.
discussion.
And
the
so,
law of words.
so your book is in English?
Yeah, of course.
Right, so on Amazon, so we'll give that a big promotion. We get quite a lot of followers. You know, the last video we did got 100,000 hits.
What's your channel? Sorry.
John Wedger Foundation. I'm an ex-police officer, but I campaign against child abuse because of the amount of child abuse that was covered up, and I stand up against it because it's just so wrong. But look, God bless. Look, like you're a biker, are you, or something?
No. This actually just cost 10 euros in Portugal.
Oh, right,
it's
okay.
relatively cheap, but it looks pretty good, I think.
Hello, ladies.
Fine.
Oh,
Last week.
oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.
My hero.
And how has things gone today?
Yeah, Piers got arrested.
Oh, Piers got
Yeah,
arrested.
We spoke for about 20 minutes.
So we had Piers Morgan,
Another guy got arrested.
Corbyn,
Yeah.
Corbyn,
Well, one
which
got
Morgan would.
arrested before him, didn't he? Got grabbed up,
Right.
arrested
There's been about
as well,
5
and then
arrests.
Piers.
What was he arrested for?
in front of the
Woman
kids.
got arrested in front of the grandkid. The
No,
grandkid
that's kids. There were kids.
oh,
Yeah, the guy.
screaming.
Was this about midday?
about half 12 to 1, maybe 1.
Oh, right, so...
Maybe 1, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, right.
because she was just saying, no, I'm not in no contact.
So he keeps getting arrested, doesn't he, Corbyn?
Yeah, but
Every time.
he's the kind of person he will speak until.
Well, they will target him because the intelligence will come out. Because I worked on one of them units in the police, and they'll say, right, this person's going to come, and when they come, if they do this, they're coming in.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember a guy called Charlie Veach years ago, the Love Police? Well, they did the same to him. He was very much an activist, really likeable fella, and then they just pounced on him. Yeah, yeah, and people will.
Listen, it's
Yeah.
what draws the crowds in, isn't it?
And literally, that he will say, like, they'll say, can you stop speaking? No, I'm going to speak to you in a minute. Let me
Yeah,
do
yeah,
what I've got
yeah.
to do. And he will continue to do what he's got to do. And then in that time.
But this is a democracy, and this is one of the things that myself and Amanda are campaigning against. That, you know, we're in the wrong here, according to them. But these people, from my angle, you know, that have gone on to commit atrocities against children are never brought to book. They are
That can
covered
stay
up.
on the internet. That all stays on the internet. That
Yeah.
doesn't get pulled down, does it?
No.
That can all stay there for them all to keep looking at.
But even like, you know, with the child abuse stuff, you know, those that are doing it high up in government, they are protected. If you speak out, you're the one that gets arrested. You're the one that's demonised. The victims end up committing suicide. They get imprisoned, or they get done for libel, and it's upside down.
In that protest you've done a little while ago, I think like end of last year maybe, to do with women outside West.
Yeah. The court said.
Nothing about that. He don't
Yeah.
do nothing of it. Like, it's all kitten. I would have come. That's why. This is the first time I've ever protested in my life because I really firmly believe in it. I believe in a lot of other things, but I haven't had the time or this is something different. But if I'd have known about the one you had at Parliament, I would have been hands down.
Joe, talking about suicides, one of my clients, her neighbour, he was 20, and this was about 3 weeks ago now. His mum went out shopping, come back and found him hanging because he couldn't cope with the situation, the news and everything what's been going on, and he just couldn't.
But there
take
might
it.
have been an underlying problem. I mean, a lot of suicides are connected to historic child abuse, and there are no help there. There's an alcoholism,
Don't listen to you. That's what makes it worse.
heroin addiction, and all this. So all they're doing is chasing their tails, nicking these shoplifters that are feeding heroin addict. But actually, someone's raped them.
Yeah,
You know, and I talked to detectives for a while, and I say to them, and they said, how do we get the big jobs? I said, go outside Tesco's and speak to the beggar. Speak to the beggar, because he'll be a heroin addict, he would have been abused, he'll give you a child rapist. Isn't that better than nicking him for begging? Isn't it better than nicking him for shoplifting? You know, and this is so topsy-turvy, how this world has just flipped the wrong world.
Though, we're in the most strongest position we've ever been.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like myself, I've become more woke, and loads of other people are. People that I thought were sleeping are now
Yeah.
woke. And it's good to
This
hear
is
that.
real. This
It's
is
really
real.
I think people realise
And they're
as
attacking
well.
our children.
Yeah.
And it's only when you upset the apple cart then you realise. I mean, I never thought they'd ever come for me, but they did. And they come with anger. Yeah, 9 times they tried to put me in prison, and they tried to take one of my kids from me because I was speaking out for children. And I'm like, well, I won't have it. I'll just say, no, I'm not having it. And I,
Destroy your life and to
Yeah.
make you and to make you feel like you're a madman.
But this lockdown is terrible. It's, you know, it's controlling people's minds, and it's just imprisoning us. And we should be speaking. This is a democratic country.
Crazy.
But look,
Like you say about alcoholism, the off licences, they're all open.
oh yeah. Breweries are still going.
Keep everyone piled, you know,
Yeah.
with drinks.
Yeah, indoors, lazy,
Imagine the women, like, what is it, domestic incidents.
violence.
What is it, 30%?
Yeah. Oh, it'll be skyrocketing.
Even
Absolutely
down
skyrocketing.
to, like my dad, he's always been active. He's 73, but he's always been active. Always goes out every day. He's got a shop, you know. Always. Now he can't do that. He's literally at home, not doing anything and drinking. He's been rushing to hospital with loads of other things, but nothing to do with Corona. But he's been dumbed down. That's why I call it dumbed down.
Also, one of the things we was talking about, there's a bit of slack here, is that we go out, right, and India, they had a massive illiteracy rate amongst women, right, and there was a suffragette movement in which Emily Pankhurst and a few others, they wanted equal rights for women. And one of the main things was there were no toilets for women. There was no toilet, there was nowhere for them to go to the toilet, so they didn't want to go in the toilet in public. And the same in India, there was no sanitation products if the woman's time of month and all that. So they weren't going to university, so they weren't being educated. They did it on purpose. But look at now, where are the toilets that are open? Where can women go to the toilet? They can't go anywhere, so they're not coming out.
Didn't come out last week, so there's no toilet.
There's nothing. They shut down the tube station at Westminster, the coffee shops won't let you use the toilets, there's no pubs. And this is a problem we always have.
They'll nick you if you
Yeah, if you know, but this is where it's so wrong, and because of our culture, it's not the sort of thing that the Western women do.
We've got a chance, because we're with stand up. Do you think we've got a chance of like being heard?
Well, I mean, who knows? Who knows? But what I say to people is, because I get a lot of people that are victims of satanic abuse, and they go, "What load of old shit?" And I say, "Do you know what? It actually doesn't matter if you believe in it. It don't matter, because those that do it believe in it, and those that have it done to them have got no option but to."
Oh, my mum's a born again Christian.
Yeah.
I've been hearing horror stories since I was kids about
Unbelievable.
things, and
Yeah,
I
think
totally believe
if
it.
people believe in, like if you believe in Christians and God and the Bible, or at least you know that exists, then why would you not think satanic things exist as well?
Well, of course. You can't have one without the other. One created the other one.
Old school, it's
Yeah, and it's the essence of everything. But same with this lockdown. Okay, you think it's to do with this virus. Well, we get colds, we're British, we always get the snots. We've had the warmest spring we've ever had on record. So therefore, no one's had the cold, no one's had the flu, no one's had a day of workers there. I don't know anyone. There are people that've got it. I'm not saying there isn't.
I think we've had
You know,
it.
you know.
But we're young, fit and healthy.
But why are we being imprisoned? Exactly. Why are we being imprisoned? We will, if you believe in it or not, we'll feel the backlash of this, because we've been 3 months into no one working, no food, the economy, everything.
And even people's treatment. Say you've got cancer, you're not your treatment's been put off. You might die with your cancer.
Yeah.
But if you've got COVID-19, you're going to get put down with COVID-19 if you've got
Her
cancer.
friend's dad can't have his treatment at Canny, and he's
Well-
getting
Well,
it
people
at
are
the
gonna
moment
die.
for 6 months or something like that until it was over.
Well, there was a doctor, he was speaking, he said the best thing that ever happened was COVID-19, because it's killed cancer, it's stopped road accidents, heart diseases,
All gone.
suicide, depression, street crime.
Gang crime, I think everyone's in lockdown.
It solved everything, you know. But they're imprisoning our minds, and we're going to pay for this.
It's fear.
Fear.
Exactly. I went to the post office the other day, and I went to walk in, and it was heaving, and I thought, I'm just going to wait outside because it's a nice day anyway. And this woman came, and she went, and I went, oh, I'm just going to wait here. I said, because you know, I've got respect, because a lot of people are scared. Then this other woman came along and was going, oh my god, how many people are in that post office? And I said, listen, love, I said, I've stood here because, you know, it's really, I don't like being too, you know, confined anyway. And I said, look, I'm just waiting here. And she went, well, I thought I've just got the bus all the way. Sorry, I've walked from Streatham because I'm too scared to get the bus. And I said, listen, I said, do you realise what you're doing to your body? Do you realise how much stress, how bad stress is for you, how harmful it is?
It brings on so many.
All that way to his
Of
own
course.
family. Would you go near your parent knowing you had a disease?
But-
I don't believe it, but I still won't go near your parents
But-
just because that 1%
but-
chance
Exactly.
that could be something.
Bullshit.
Our
A lot of it.
pubs won't open again. Look, they're all in there.
We said that. No windows open.
No windows
no
open,
masks.
and one of them said, "But we've been tested." Well, it's like having an MOT. Your car will fail the next day. Being tested, was that going to protect them for the
I
next
don't
day?
even believe they were tested because last week, the
I
other
could
week,
have
I
just
asked
Of course they're
infected
not.
them talking to
Well,
them.
well,
Don't forget, it's still infectious.
I've still got old friends that were in the police, and I said, "Have you been tested?" But no one has. It's all a lie.
I actually asked him a couple of weeks ago when there was a big process. I did say to him, "Can I just ask you why does it not apply to you, the 2 metre rules?"
Yeah.
When we're a key worker and when we're on operation, it does not apply. I said, "Okay, that's fine. Thank you."
But
for telling
the
me that."
virus don't know that, does it?
No, the virus don't know. And also, you see people throughout the whole week. You're putting everyone at risk that you're seeing on your operation.
Yeah.
It's not
And,
unfair.
and how do you get to work? By train? Do you go in a bubble?
Yeah.
And if this was real, all these shopkeepers would be dead.
Yeah.
All the
None of us have got ill. We've been doing this weeks and weeks. None of us have got ill.
exactly.
Not
None
one
of
of
us.
us. Not one of us.
And
we're
it's-
in a group. We talk to people. It's just growing and growing
We
and
was
growing.
ill, what, about the 10th of March, because we were going on holiday. I think she just before. I got ill about the 10th of March. I was ill for about 5 days. Then she came down with it. We were fine.
I know.
We were fine.
And it's how the shopkeepers are treating you as well now. I mean, they're treating you like you're shit. You know, they're shouting at you. Amanda had it in the bank, didn't they? They were shouting at you the other day. Get back, come here, you know, and because it's power, isn't it? But we just got to fight and just say, look, we're not having this, because this is eroding our civil liberties. It's taking the focus off where crime should really be focused on. You know, it should be on the child abuse and everything else. And it is a huge distraction.
That's why you can't help but think this is done as a cover for what is actually going on.
Yeah.
Someone has said that.
Yeah.
With the
Of
arrests
course.
and stuff.
It's a smoke
You don't
screen
know.
to push all the laws
Have you been
through.
by Buckingham Palace recently?
Well, someone said it's all shut up, isn't it?
We're
we're
going
gonna go
to
look
go
after.
look after.
I
don't
Apparently the things, but the actual
crest is
is
gone
down.
and-
Yeah, someone
I don't
said
know, I
that.
believe
We've seen
that.
the video of it,
Yeah.
but it could have been amended. It could have been edited.
I mean, they'll always have different regiments. They take it in turn. So some said the RAF, but yeah, they do sometimes do it. But I mean,
You just don't know what's going on.
but
No one knows.
we've just got to keep going. But this is a bit disappointing.
But this was smaller. This is a smaller one than a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks was mad, wasn't it?
A few people together. That was UK Freedom Movement.
That was good.
And others. This is not nothing to do with them. But
Well,
apparently
we don't even know if that was them. We don't know if that leaflet was like.
Well, it said it on the leaflet.
But who's to say someone didn't add that on to deter people because of their links?
Yeah, because we were told don't come here because the right-hand group.
But it's still good to see people out, you know, and no one's.
This is what I keep saying to my daughter when we go out. I'm like, when we go park to park, I'm like, this is amazing because this is what we need to do. We're human beings. We need to go out.
Even if we tell one more person every time we come, that's
There was 2 old women said to us, didn't they? They went, but what we doing wrong? This is what we do. We go to the park and we talk. What we doing wrong? This is the UK.
At Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, you know,
that's the place in the world
the
that's so
seat,
historically known.
It's like one of this guy here. I mean, Ukrainian. It was another Russian said to me, "We come to England not because your weather's good, not because your food's good, but because you've got freedom, and you are throwing your freedom away. What are you English doing? You're, you know, the seat of democracy." No, but right, we're going to wander down. Well, God bless you, girls. Right, we'll see you later on. Bye bye. Right. So, you know, it's good to see that people have woken up to it. We've seen them 3 girls there that just basically had enough, you know, and you know, I think one's a mother and she's telling her daughter that it's a load of lies. But it's so sparse. It's the most beautiful day you can imagine. This is like a boiling hot August, but this is still in May, and we're going to go into the big collective down here and have a little look. I know the police are sort of concerned about them, but what are they concerned about? I mean, what is anyone doing? And it's the same, you know, with the virus. You know, so it doesn't apply to the police officers when they're like 10, 20, 40 strong, that the virus doesn't jump. But according to them, it doesn't. But of course, if it was you know, what they tell us, then of course it would be jumping across. But it isn't. Absolutely isn't. This is just. But after a while, it gets under people's skin and it becomes normality. It is the programming. Now my focus was never on about the COVID thing, but unfortunately, this has merged. Hang on a sec. They're on the move here. Let's just see where they're going. If you can just spin round and get these chaps. They're on the move here. Let's just see if they're going to disrupt this game. No, they're going straight on. They haven't. They've got one carrier. They call them carriers, these vans. One from the TSG. The last one we was here, they had about 10 of them. They've only got one, so they're not seeing it as a problem. I think they're pretty much dismissing and dispersing now. Oh no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're sort of coming round. Let's have a little look. What's going on here? There's a group with a Ghanaian flag there. I don't know what they're doing, and don't know what the police are doing, but anyway, we'll have a little wander around now. So just see the chaps are sort of just coming out. See what is happening here. They've got their forms in their hands. Everyone's got their forms in their hands. If you walk round to the left, just keep to the edge of it. You know, there's right, okay. So it looks like they are anyone who's anyone who's going in there. They're telling them to disperse. Right. So they're going in and they're pushing that group forward. It was sticking it back. Don't get in the inside of it because we'll end up getting one of them flipping forms, and it's not something I want. But anyway, but again, it's not a big group. It's just a handful of people. It's a handful of people, but you know, unfortunately, you know, what has pushed me down this line is the fact that what we're running on views, we're on 400 views, which is last time we was on 2,000 views, which is what is interesting with this is that when we see the testimonies of Jeanette and Darren, and we see that the absolute obtuse criminality, you know, and sort of undetected criminality, and the lacklustre of the police to even go near the most heinous and horrendous of crimes, and that one officer, imagine we had these officers down on that farm down in Surrey, you know, or at Rainbow Woods when poor little Darren and his little mates were being hounded naked, whip beaten and buggered, you know, and you know, and this would have been known about, and you know, and the police did know about Rainbow Woods. Let's not get this wrong. They did know. Darren was approached by the police on 2 separate occasions regarding these woods, so it was known what was going on. but apparently when a certain person was mentioned as being involved, everything was shut down. So yeah, when they get people like Piers Corbyn, who's a known activist, you know, and it will be a trophy. If someone nicks him, that'll be a little trophy. They'll say, I've nicked, you know, the shadow Prime Minister's brother, you know, and it will go in their favour. Again, I'm not in any way am I anti-police. I'm really, really not. I'm anti-corruption, you know, and I'm anti-bullying, and I really am. It's just, but you know, but what people are doing, they're standing firm, and let's just talk to these chaps here. Let's see what's going on, you know. So this chap's coming over, and all right, lads, we're doing a live podcast. Was you told to disperse? No. All right, that's all right then. All right. I think they're probably from the local army barracks, to be honest. Oh, here we go. Look, oh look, it's kicking off. Oh, it's kicking off. Oh. Now stay on the outside of it so we can get to see. Hey? Right, there's a little bit of so it's all getting a little bit frenetic here. Right. It looks like the oh look, there's a chap. A little bit of a argy-bargy there. All right. Oh look. Amanda, look. So some chaps. Right, so that's his debut. Right, okay. Right. Right. Save our children. So there's a lady here with an auntie. Is she getting a ticket? One sec. Can we come over here a minute? Right, she's getting a ticket. Right, I want to have a chat with her when she's. Right. Yeah. Come here. Just want to have a word with this lady with her little with her. Let's have a chat. Yeah, look. Right, come on in. Right, so they're now slapping tickets on everyone, so it's quite clear what's going on now. Right, so what we're running at on the hits here. Right, so I don't know what that was all about. That was obviously a fella failing to give his details. I mean, they've come over because there is a larger crowd gathering, but oh well. Right, all right, okay. Let's just go around this way. There's a dog like mine there. Dog like Millie. Right, okay. So we're just going around. It's just, yeah. So walk round the outside of that, and then it's obviously bringing quite a bit of attention now. But I mean, again, it's all down to the fact that yeah. Let's walk round here. Freedom of speech. Listen to this guy. Yeah. Listen to this guy.
You are the criminals.
What law have you broken? None. So every single one of you has broken your oath to uphold the law.
Criminals!
That is not law. You know this is right. You know.
Just walk round this side. Walk round this side. Hello. How are you? All right? How are you? Taking your dog out? All right. Come. Yeah, they are. No, it's right what they're saying. It is right what they're saying. That you know, it is. It's you know, it's come to a point now that people. It is right. Yeah, come here. Let's have a chat. So what was all this about? What was all this about?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's because they're paid
Of
to
course,
carry
yeah.
out orders without questioning the authority that is given to them.
Yeah, I know. It is a sad. Right, let's. Right, come on in. Let's wander back. Right, this lady's coming in now. So she's the one protecting the children. Oh no, man. This is sad. This is very sad. Oh man, this is. I never joined for that. Can you sit back now? You sit back now. Right, okay. Right.
Huh?
Oh, that's come on, this.
Smile.
So sad that. So sad. Oh, do they not know what they're doing here? Do they not know what they're doing here? Come on in. So, look like Millie. Looks like Millie, that dog. Look. Come here. Right, come on you. Come on you. Come on, let's do a recap on this. Now, what we saw was, I think we saw this lady last time we was here, and she's anti-vaccines. I think we had a chat with her. I'm going to go back and see our little group now. She's anti-vaccines, and she's doing no harm. She's not a problem, and they've handcuffed the poor woman. It's quite sad. Oh, it's quite sad to see, man. And this isn't. Honestly, this isn't what. Oh, it is honestly. That's breaking my heart, to be honest. When we see, come, let's do a podcast. Yeah, put it on me a minute. Right now, what we're seeing when we saw the fact that not one police officer excavated that farm in Surrey, not one, right? Not one police officer excavated that farm in Surrey, and then we see 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 coppers here, and with a lady who's just protesting against anti-vaccines, because what is going to happen is it is going to be anti-vaccine. They are going to bring in the vaccines, and they are going to be hugely detrimental to our children. And she's only a humanitarian. She's only doing what's right. She might have been arsey. I don't know. But come, let's go. But and like I said, when not one officer excavated that field. Not one copper turned up when Darren. If kids are in the woods climbing trees, right? Someone calls the old bill and the police turn up because they're climbing a tree. So how could they not have turned up at Rainbow Woods when there was a dozen naked boys being thrashed and buggered? How comes that never happened? How comes that never happened? And so can you see what we're doing there? You see what you're doing? Right? And he was pointing at the ground there. But, oh dear, it is just, it's very upsetting, very, very upsetting, but I know someone that got arrested the other day and got a fine, and it was never imposed. So they never actually bothered sending through the PCN, the penalty charge notice. So I'd like to see how many people actually get these penalty charge notices and how many of them actually end up do get prosecuted. But that lady never. And it does on the balance. I mean, I say I've worked. Hi, my friend. I work with the police and I've dealt with public order. I didn't want to. That's the reasons why I didn't do uniform policing, because I couldn't be dealing with that rubbish. But when you see them 12 of them lifting a woman like that, handcuffing her, and all she's doing is protesting against the vaccines, which are going to cause the deaths of untold children. You look at the MMR, what that did, and they wasn't kicking off. They wasn't causing any grief. They weren't shouting. They weren't screaming. You know, there was no violence. It's just very, very sad. Very, very sad. And then, you know, when I put that, you know, against the lacklustre of both the Metropolitan Police and the Surrey Police to go to this farm where children were raped, they were hung up on meat hooks, they were garroted. Jeanette has not been discredited. Not been discredited at all. There was no reason to say she was a liar. No reason at all. Right? So she has not been discredited. You've seen my podcast with her. You see the integrity in this woman. You know, and she just wants to do good so other children don't suffer. Yet not one police officer went and excavated that land. Not one of her abusers was arrested. You got Darren, when you got people like Peter Ball, what they were doing, whipping and sodomising these young frightened boys. Not one person was ever arrested, not one. And when there was a name of a celebrity was mentioned, right? The name of a celebrity was mentioned, and how they stopped the investigation straight away, you know? And we saw that, and it just breaks your heart. It does. What chance have we got? Again, my focus isn't on the COVID thing. It's not. I'm not here for the COVID thing. I'm here because the focus of policing should be on the investigation and the arrest and the conviction of people that are attacking our children. And it isn't. All they are doing is attacking those that are coming forward and are victims of these crimes. And this has to stop. And I'm not anti-police. No way am I anti-police. You know, not at all. But very sad that. Very, very sad that that's what it's come down to. That, you know, and she wasn't being arsey. We saw her. We followed her through the last couple of minutes. So anyway, this is what's happening now. Is causing me to have a rift between me and the police, and I don't want that. I don't want this rift between them. I don't want that at all. But this is what it seems to be happening. That it is pushing me towards that way. They were respectful, they were there, but they didn't need to nick that woman. They didn't. There was no need to nick her. They could drive around the corner and just bummed her out again, you know. So, but anyway, so we're back with our group now, and again, this hasn't really had the impetus we thought it would have, but so be it. And no, I want to. You know, so right. So what we're going to do? We're just going to sort of bully off from. Let's have a look at how we're doing on our hits. Sorry, just let me. Wow, we're on nearly 700. So right. So I'm going to do another podcast shortly. I'm just going to get a bit of refreshments. We're going to assess the situation, and the police presence is dying down. But how sad. All right then. So I'm going to sort of